shaking out to be the longest drive I've ever taken the 95 LS on. It's going to be about 1,000 miles from Phoenix to St. George, Utah and back. I'm excited to see how the car does. I've only added about 3,000 miles to this car since its complete mechanical overhaul back in 2021. So far so good. I'm about 2 hours into the drive already. Stop at my halfway point on the way to southern Utah. I do have some cargo in here. I'm bringing a 91 Legend bumper up here. It's wrapped in a car cover. I'm gonna deliver this tomorrow to my friend Cooper in St. George, Utah, who's got a twilight blue sedan that I will introduce you to. And back on the road we go. Check it out. Perfect. Pulled up in Vegas and about 100 miles to go. Welcome back to my favorite photo spot of all time here on the ridge overlooking beautiful southern Utah. This is a spot where I used to bring my Prelude, even brought my Celebrity up here once or twice, and pretty much every car I've ever owned, well, most of the cars I've owned, I've driven up here to Utah sometime over the last 20 years since I moved to Arizona. And I always like to bring them here to this spot because some things about the landscape never change. For example, the rocks behind me have been obviously in the same position for thousands of years. However, looking out over here in the valley, it's a stark contrast to what was seen here a quarter of a century ago, and it makes me feel kind of old that I can say that I've seen it for that long. But it's a really cool experience to feel sort of connected to my youth again up here, especially because this is a car specifically that I've been tracking for 25 years. I first saw this car here in southern Utah in December of 2000, and it took me 21 years to get my hands on it, went through restoration, and now this is its first major road trip during my ownership over the last about 3.5 years. So I'm very pleased with how well the car did. I put about 400 miles on it today, and it was rock solid. No freaking way. I'm pretty sure that's a PMC edition that just passed me. Unbelievable. Get out of there. Get out of there. 6:27 in the morning, gonna head out from Hurricane, or Hurricane as the locals pronounce it, Utah, and I'll be home in about 6.5 hours. Fueled up and ready to go. This is one of those drives that even though it's 2025 and the world around us is getting developed and industrialized, there's still so much solitude out here in the desert along the Utah-Arizona state line. Figured I should at least make an effort to capture a Sherwood green car in a Sherwood forest. This is the highway right here at the junction with 67. That's the highway that goes to the north rim of the Grand Canyon. It is closed for the season right now, probably until closer to May, I would guess. You see the signage here. Closed for the winter. Now this is the same stretch of road that I drove in the Integra Type R during the holidays. I brought that car up here. I was heading the opposite direction because I did my Utah loop in a counterclockwise fashion, and this time I'm going clockwise, but pretty much have the road to myself. You can see a little bit of snow on the side of the road up there. It is chilly right now. Whew. And figured I'd pull off into the snow for just a second. Good morning from beautiful, sunny northern Arizona here on Sunday, February 9th. It just reminded me today's my brother's birthday. I gotta text him after this. Just wanted to pause here for a minute at the Vermillion Cliffs. I've talked about this place way too many times probably, but I just can't get enough landscape here. It feels like you're driving in some kind of Western film. And if you could just pause and appreciate how quiet it is out here. There's a gentleman up the hill here setting up some native artifacts for sale. But other than that, I am completely alone out here. Haven't seen any cars drive past in the 10 or so minutes I've been enjoying the scenery. Might hike around for a little bit and then start working my way southbound again. But been a really fun trip. This was kind of a multi-purpose adventure this weekend. I had a bumper to deliver to a Legend owner in southern Utah for his Twilight Blue 91 sedan. And then also did a visit with my grandfather, who's now turning 94 this weekend. So a lot of fun to spend time with family and a good excuse to put a few miles on the 95 LS. Just picked up a couple snacks at this Chevron in Marble Canyon. I've said it before, but I'll say it again and again. It's the most scenic Chevron or any gas station you'll ever see in your entire life. Just look at the 360-degree panorama. My last fuel stop in Flagstaff. It's all literally downhill from here. And I think that is a wrap with about 1,000 miles logged since last Thursday. So over the course of 4 days travel time, car did amazingly. As far as observations on trip performance, I will note this is the first longer trip this car has taken since the engine was completely overhauled back in 2022. And so I'm pleased that it did so well. A couple things I did note on the car on this 1,000-mile trip. The cruise control randomly would deactivate on its own for some reason, and I have to set it again here. Also, the turn signal stock is supposed to click into place with high beams, and it doesn't. It'll light them up, but it won't sort of stay engaged. Something weird that I noticed. The door lock actuator kind of acts up on this car, as with many Legends. It did throw a brief check engine light, which I'll have to pull the code for and see what that was all about, but it resolved on the next startup. The radio volume doesn't work from the steering wheel as it's supposed to, and the shocks are a little crunchy, especially in colder weather. But other than that, honestly, I can't ask for much because I made it to my destination and back without the car skipping a beat at all, and I'm glad that its maiden voyage is complete. So until next time.